Okay, guys, so we are back. RayJ is making a major witness move because RayJ, as you guys know, he's fighting this court case with Kim and Kris Jenner. You guys know that if you have been keeping up, most recently, Kim and Kris swore under oath that they did not release the tape. However, RayJ is pushing back and RayJ is saying, yes, we all released the tape. It was an agreement, and as such, he is now saying that he's going to bring in the CEO of Vivid to testify on his behalf that it was a mutual agreement between him, Kim Kardashian, and Kris Jenner. Now, the moment that it hit the public that Kim and Kris had sworn under oath that they did not release the tape, everyone was shocked and saying what Kim and Kris swore under oath was wild, even TMZ. But, because TMZ is saying they have seen the contract, honey. They're saying they've seen the contract. But what they're saying also is that Kim and Kris, they were calculated with use of their words. So they are saying that because Kim and Kris said they did not orchestrate the release of the tape, if they have been found out to be lying by the court, they can get away with it because if they signed an agreement with Vivid and Vivid released the tape, then their attorney can argue and say it was Vivid who released the tape, but they did agree for Vivid to orchestrate the release of the tape, right? So the other thing that TMZ is saying is that they know for sure Vivid does not release tapes without the consenting parties' signatures, and not just their signatures, their age has to be verified, which means that there were IDs involved and signatures from Kim and RayJ, okay? And TMZ is saying they are sure of that. Now, if you guys remember, I'd also brought up the point that Bethany Frankel said it's like an urban legend in Hollywood that Kris Jenner had paid for Kim to get a glam squad to do the sex tape. And the time when RayJ came out and said that he's tired of Kim and Kris lying on him, so much so that he feels like deleting himself because his kids are getting older and he doesn't want his kids to have that impression of him because it's not true, right? When RayJ did that video, and when he came out and he did the entire expose, Bethany Frankel stood on RayJ's side. And you guys know, Bethany Frankel is always defending Kim Kardashian because even when it was Kourtney's wedding and Kourtney and Kim had that beef where Kourtney was saying Kim used their wedding as a business opportunity and that is who Kim is to her core. Kim is just about money. Bethany Frankel actually sided with Kim and said, Kourtney needs to bend over on that one because without Kim, the family would not know any fame or success, right? And remember that Bethany Frankel also told us that without Kim, there are certain opportunities that wouldn't have been available to her, Bethany, because she's saying that Kim did help her, I believe she said, with some connections that has to do with her skinny girl, Margarita. So Bethany Frankel is a Kim stan. She's always defending Kim. But she said she knows the story about Kris, actually getting Kim, the glam squad, to shoot the sex tape. It's like a urban legend, a story that has been told over years in Hollywood. So what TMZ was saying is that they know that at this point, because they know that Kim and Kris did actually file a lawsuit against Vivid, but then they withdrew the lawsuit, right? So as such, we're not sure why the lawsuit was filed. That was never made clear to the public. Like the actuality of that lawsuit was never made clear to the public, and why they withdrew the lawsuit, that was never made clear to the public either, right? But we knew that it was in regards to the tape. So, as such, what TMZ was saying, Vivid need to step in and speak the truth, because they know for a fact how Vivid works. Vivid does not release any tape without all participant consent and age verification. So as such, RayJ is now saying that he's gonna bring in the Steve Hirsch from Vivid, who released the tape. He's Vivid Entertainment's boss, right? He's the one who released the tape. And RayJ is saying that he's going to bring in Steve Hirsch, and Steve Hirsch is agreeing to testify that the tape was in fact released with Kim and Kris' consent, according to this report that is coming out from TMZ, because TMZ, they have been talking to RayJ consistently ever since this trial. And the truth of the matter is, I want the truth to come out, right? Let me not say I want RayJ to be vindicated. Let me say I want the truth to prevail in all of this as it relates to the tape. When it comes to the rest of the lawsuit between Kim and Kris and RayJ, I really don't care about that portion. But the truth of the sex tape, it needs to be made. You know why? It is not fair to RayJ if Kim and Kris actually agreed, and if everything RayJ said is true. It's not fair to RayJ for Kim and Kris to be painting RayJ to be a monster for the past 2 decades while they make good their escape and make RayJ look like he's the nemesis. That's not fair to RayJ. RayJ is a bitter Betty because Kim made more success from the tape than he did. And we can all see that RayJ is very bitter from that. We can always see RayJ throwing jabs at Kim, so much so that you know that we spoke about it over here, and we have always said that RayJ needs to leave Kim alone. You guys know that I've also said that RayJ needs to understand that Kanye played an integral part to Kim's success as well. So when he's saying that he is the one that made Kim famous, it is half true, but not entirely factual, because Ye played a humongous role in Kim's fame and success. But let's get into this report from TMZ, because RayJ is standing 10 toes down on this one. And not just RayJ. RayJ's mom is blasting Kim and Kris because she's saying Kim, Kris, RayJ, and quite a few other people in their circle, both Kim and Kris' circle as well as her and RayJ's circle, knows the truth about the tape. And what Sonia Norwood is saying is that Kim and Kris knows that what they're saying, that RayJ released the tape without their consent, is not true. And that's what TMZ is saying. It's not true because Vivid doesn't release tape without participants' consent. So, let's get into this report, shall we? Because this is the latest update on this, because TMZ is pursuing this, and TMZ is saying they have covered this repeatedly and they've seen the contract, which means that they're saying, yeah, we saw these people signing and agreeing to the release of the tape. But did they sign and agree to the release of the tape after the release was done? But then again, TMZ is saying Vivid doesn't do a release without signatures. And you guys remember that I said to you, I saw the interview on YouTube a couple years ago when it was alleged that Kim and Kris tried to release a tape without RayJ's signal. So, you guys know that I've also said to you guys that I saw the interview on YouTube a couple years ago that alleged that Kim and Kris tried to release a tape without RayJ's consent. So, as such, I want the truth to come to light. And I hope that the entertainment boss of Vivid does not take anyone's side and speak the entire truth and let it be free. But let's get into this report without any further ado. Now, TMZ saying RayJ says he's ready to bring out a major witness in his ongoing war with Kim Kardashian and Kris Jenner over the infamous sex tape. And it's someone he claims would know exactly what went down. Now, the singer-lawyer Howard King tells TMZ if Kim or Kris continue denying they worked with Vivid Entertainment boss Steve Hirsch to release the tape, King's team is prepared to call Hirsch himself to testify. So RayJ's attorney is saying, we're going to have to call in Steve Hirsch's team to testify. So TMZ saying TMZ broke the story. Both Kim and Kris filed sworn declaration this week saying they did not mastermind a plan to shoot, sell, and release the tape. Kim Kardashian Superstar. That's what the tape is called, right? Now, TMZ further states those statements were made under oath. King, who is the attorney, claims the mother-daughter duo flat out lied. King insists Hirsch could confirm, so Hirsch is from Vivid. So RayJ's attorney King is saying Hirsch could confirm the role he says Kim and Kris played in orchestrating the tape's rollout back in 2007. He also fired off a warning shot at Kim specifically, saying if she hopes to one day become a lawyer, making a sworn statement like that aren't true could seriously backfire and subject her to criminal perjury prosecution. You guys remember when Kim said that RayJ doing this could hurt her becoming an attorney, and RayJ fired back on her and said, me speaking the truth about what happened can't affect you becoming an attorney because you need to pass the bar first. How about you passing the bar exam before you say something, right? So RayJ's attorney King is saying this, the same thing, but he's saying that Kim telling lie under oath, it can affect her becoming an attorney because it is perjury, right? She's lying under oath, and he's saying that he's gonna call in Hirsch's team from Vivid to testify. Now, let's continue. TMZ saying quick reality check, and we've reported this for years now. There's no legal way Vivid could have released a sex tape without RayJ and Kim signing off on it. So that part's not really in dispute, because what TMZ is standing firm on is that RayJ and Kim had to sign off before Vivid released the tape, right? So they're saying the debate now is really about how involved Kim and particularly Kris were in making the deal. In her declaration this week, Kris said it's absolutely false if RayJ or anyone else claims she was involved in the commercial exploitation of her daughter through the sex tape, right? Now, TMZ is saying, in all interviews, Hirsch, who no longer owns Vivid, has said Kris had no role in selling the tape. So Hirsch has said, based on what TMZ is saying, Hirsch had said Kris Jenner had no role in selling the tape. And that would be true because RayJ showed us that here is his signature and here is Kim's signature. And they did not sign with their official name, right? If I'm remembering correctly, like it was like Kim and it was like RayJ, right? Now, they're saying, as you know, Kim and Kris filed a lawsuit against RayJ back in October, accusing him of defamation, and he fired right back with a countersuit, claiming they broke a settlement agreement that bars anyone involved from talking publicly about the sex tape. We reached out to reps for Kris and Kim, and they declined to comment. So far, TMZ has been speaking to RayJ and speaking to RayJ's attorney, right? But one thing TMZ has been adamant about is that RayJ and Kim had to have signed off on it, and they're saying that they have seen the contract and they did sign off on it. And RayJ is adamant about the same thing as well. So, I do hope that RayJ's attorney calls in Hirsch's team and they speak the truth and let the truth prevail in this case. It is time for this to wrap the hell up because it has been going on for decades and we need to get out of this group chat. We need to move on with our lives. And RayJ need to move on with his life. If it's something y'all did when you were younger, it is something both of you need to take accountability for. It doesn't make sense you pass blame on one party knowing that both parties were involved. That's definitely not fair to RayJ, and it would not be fair to Kim either if it was the other way around, right? But that's all we have to talk about for this video. We're going to talk some more in the comment section. Peace